Grace and Mercy Ministries presents This Is Your Season with Pastor Donald L. Watson. And now for today's message.
So this morning, I do want to talk a little bit about Christmas. Christmas is roughly about 2 weeks away. And my family knows me, so they knows that sometimes when it comes to Christmas, I can be the biggest Scrooge there is. But nevertheless, there is a question folks will ask you between now and the 25th of December. And that question is, are you ready for Christmas? Guarantee you somebody's going to walk up to you and say, hey, are you ready for Christmas? And I'm only supposing what they're really asking is, have you put up your Christmas decorations? Or have you finished your Christmas shopping? Have you mailed out your Christmas cards? Have you even put everything on your calendar that you're supposed to go to this year? Are you ready for Christmas? We meet ourselves coming and going. And as we meet ourselves coming and going, we call it the Christmas rush. Sometimes Christmas season seems to be very hectic. And it tends, we tend to forget what the reason is for the season. You see, when I ask the question, are you ready for Christmas? I'm not really talking about your activities. I'm asking about your attitude. Because every once in a while, somebody is going to say, I'm just not in the Christmas spirit. And I'm good for saying that. And maybe you too. But as we begin to get closer to Christmas, we begin to think about Christmas. And we begin to look at what is the real meaning of Christmas. Christmas says, God became human being. God expressed his love by living among us, by walking among us, and by talking to us. That's what Christmas means. But what's the right attitude we ought to have so that Christmas can really actually happen in our homes and our lives? So just for a few minutes, I just want to touch on the Christmas story, if that's all right. Thank you so much. I'm glad somebody says it's all right. Because it was getting kind of quiet in here. I was like, man, can I get a cricket? Can I get an amen? Can I get something? Coming from the book of Matthew, in that first chapter, just want to look at a couple of verses. In the book of Matthew, I'm reading from the NIV version. The book of Matthew, starting at that 18th verse. It says, this is how the birth of Jesus, the Messiah, came about. His mother, Mary, was pledged to be married to Joseph. But before they came together, she was found to be pregnant through the Holy Spirit. Because Joseph, her husband, was faithful to the law, and yet he did not want to expose her to a public disgrace. He had in mind to divorce her quietly. But after he had considered this, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said, Joseph, the son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary home as your wife, because what is conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She will give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins. All of this took place to fulfill what the Lord has said through the prophets. The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel, which means God's with us. When Joseph woke up, he did what the angels of the Lord had commanded him and took Mary home as his wife. But he did not consummate their marriage until she gave birth to her son. And he gave him the name Jesus. I, like Joseph, was kind of interesting because Joseph really didn't stand in the spotlight for very long. We really don't know an awful lot about Joseph's life. And because we really didn't know an awful lot about Joseph's life, but we can learn something about his attitude. We can learn about the attitude that he really had for Christmas. I'm going to try and make 3 points, and then I'm going to sit down. The first one was accepting God's will, whatever it might be. The second was learn to care about other people. And the third one was learn to give whatever we have to give. So in that first one, Joseph teaches us to be ready to accept God's will, whatever it is. Joseph was open to the will and the leading of God. Put yourself in Joseph's position. And when you put yourself in Joseph's position, think about this for a second. Here you are planning your wedding. Here you are with your fiance talking about your wedding. Everything's being planned and the wedding date's coming up soon. In your mind, you're going to get married. You're going to stay in Jerusalem or in Nazareth. That even as you stay in Nazareth, your carpentry business is going to continue to grow, and you're going to live happy ever after. All flowers. Everything's going to just be going great because you already thought about it. This is your plan. This is what's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, Mary walks in the room and said, Joseph, I'm pregnant. I'm having a baby. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. We haven't did anything. We are sitting here, oh my God, we're sitting here planning a wedding. We're sitting here putting things together. That even as we sit here and put things together, you know, and now all of a sudden you're going to walk in and tell me you're pregnant? You're having a baby? Now, I don't know, and I can't speak for any of y'all, but that's a bombshell. That's shocking news. That tells me that, wait a minute, hold it. What happened? So I thought you loved me like I love you. Who snuck in? Somebody came in, and because I know the baby ain't mine, but somebody snuck in. And when somebody snuck in, Joseph, he's like, "Oh Lord, I can't do this. I'm just trying to be truthful, because most of y'all would have been doing the same thing. the wedding's off. We can't get married. And they say Joseph was let me put this in my own words. Joseph was pondering it, thinking about it. And one of the words says he went into a trance. Another one said he went into a dream. But he was thinking about what he had to do because he didn't want to embarrass Mary because technically the law says that he can actually have her stoned for doing what she did. But as he got away from himself and he's in his thoughts, all of a sudden the angel begins to speak to him. And when the angel begins to speak to him, now he tells him to go and take Mary. And as he goes to take Mary, the angel has to speak to the point where he woke up. And even as the angel was speaking, think about this for a second. The angel speaking to him, and I'm putting this in my own words kind of, he said, and the angel told him to go and take Mary, everything will be all right. What was he really saying? Trust in the Lord. He got this. And Joseph had to be a man of faith in order to say, I'm going to trust in the Lord because he got this. And as the truth was told, we trust in the Lord because he does something for us and we can see it happening. But can we still trust in the Lord when it don't look right? Can we still say, I'm going to trust in God and I'm going to follow through with this because God said trust in him. Versus arguing and saying, no, this ain't right. We all go through some things that we're expecting God to step in a situation. And sometimes it don't look like the way we think it should look. And because it doesn't look that way, are we still trusting in him? Or do we give up? And he said, trust in him, I got this. Then we need to learn how to sit back and trust in him and watch to see what happens. Because all of us, just like Joseph, heard a small, still voice. And that small, still voice just says, trust in me. That's all. And then even now, as we going through Christmas, some of us find ourselves in a position that Joseph was in. Christmas is supposed to be a time of peace, but there's conflict. Christmas is supposed to be a time that you have peace in your house, there's happiness going on in your house, and there's happiness on your job, but there's conflict. There's something we all are going through. Christmas is supposed to be a time of joy. But there's so much sadness because we might be missing a loved one. We might be missing something that could just create us to be sad. But it's supposed to be a time of joy. Christmas is supposed to be a time of love. But there's so much hate in this world. But we have to learn how to just hear that quiet, still voice. Because we begin to cry out of all these other things that's going on. And Jesus just says, trust me. Trust me that I can work things out. Trust me that no matter what it looks like, I am still in control. And I'm so thankful that God's ways are not our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. And we can never actually think the way God thinks. Have you ever tried to figure out what somebody else was going to think? Or figure out what somebody else was going to do? But yet you can't do that with God. His thoughts, his ways are much higher than ours. We can't even comprehend what God thinks. But we're sitting there trying to figure out what somebody else is thinking. Like you're a mind reader. Trying to figure out, hey! But God said, trust me. And it will all work out. Romans 8:28 says, we know that all things for God worked are higher. For all things that God works through those who love him and are called according to his purpose. So we know that things are going to work out. We just know because we're believing in what God is going to do for us. Oh, my goodness, my goodness. You know, I was going to tie this in just a little bit, which was they had the men of the church come and stand up front. And when the men of the church came and stand up front, they had to take on what we were calling prayer and tell them they need to stand in fatherhood. But when you begin to see Joseph, you begin to see Joseph in a different light. And Joseph heard what God had told him. He said, no matter what, I'm going to trust him. I'm going to stand. And that leads me to my second point, and that's learning how to take care of other people. See, the things Joseph teaches us is we have to learn how to care for other people. Because if you ever notice, when they put on those Christmas plays or they show those figurines for Christmas time, you know, Mary always looks so angelic because she just had the baby and a lot of stuff is focused on Mary. And then you have the shepherds. They're on the side. They're all excited and they're praising God because they were able to make it there. Then they had the three kings on the other side, and the three kings wasn't even there at the day of the birth, but they came later on. And they came with their myrrh and their frankincense and their gold. But yet, Joseph is standing to the side. You know, Joseph is standing to the side, and his job was to take care of his family. His job was to take care of Mary and the baby Jesus. His job was to make sure he could take them up to Egypt and they could be safe. He had to walk away from his family. He had to walk away from his loved ones. He had to walk away from his town. He had to walk away from his job in order just to take care of his wife and to take care of his son. He had to do that. And the same token, when you start taking care of other people, I look at what we did last night. We had so many people that walked in, came in with frowns but left with smiles. You know, and I was blessed enough to stand at the door as they went out, and over half of them says, it feels like Christmas. I mean, for folks who didn't have very much of anything, for them to feel the joy, to feel the love, to feel the peace that was in that place, and they begin to walk out saying, man, this feels like Christmas. And yet, for some of us who has stuff, we can't even say that. We don't know the joy that we put in somebody else's heart. And that's what Joseph took care of his family. And that's what he was supposed to do. And the same thing we're supposed to do is take care of our families. And then we go beyond that and help take care of others. Because as we begin to take care of others, then we begin to know what Christmas is all about. Christmas is not about gifts. Because God gave us the greatest gift ever. And now as he gave it to us, it's what we do with it. It is our attitude. It's how we look at life. It's how we look at things. And then my final point, I think, which was, and I'm going to shut this down, was learn to give whatever you have to give. Give whatever you have to give. Oh, there it is. Some of us are so worried about, I don't have anything. I can't give anything. Guess what you can give? Your love. You could give your love. You could give your talents. You could give. If you don't have the treasure, fine. Give your time. Give your love. So instead of going and spending all your money on presents, instead of going and spending all your money on things that people are going to be remembered for the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks and then gone, show them your love. Show them what Christ did. How he came to this earth just so he could be among us. Just so he can love us. And so the real attitude for Christmas is not in the gifts, but Jesus is the reason for the season. And we want to be able to show love wherever we go. We want to be able to lift up the name of Jesus wherever we may be. That even as we lifted him up, even as we telling him thank you for how good he's been. But we look around and we see our own family members. And sometimes, oh my God, I hear you, Lord. Sometimes they don't need a gift. They need your prayer. They need you to know, you need to tell them how much you love them, how much you care for them. And if they're aching and they're paining, let me pray for you. They need to know how much do you care. See, it may be easy to go and pray for a stranger, but it's hard to go and pray for a family member. But if you really, truly love them, you're gonna say, I didn't come here to preach. I just came here to help you with your aches and pains and with the things that you're going through, the heartaches, because you don't know what somebody went through the night before. You don't know what somebody woke up with that's on them. God knows. And all they need is your love. All they need is a little bit of attention from you. That's all they need. That's all they, and Joseph takes Mary and he takes the baby Jesus and he takes him and he goes over to Egypt and he takes care of them. He said, I may not have all the money that I have to actually make you live in a mansion or whatever, but guess what? I can still take care of you. I can still help meet the needs. I can still do what I need to do. I'm here for you. You have my time. You have my attention. Oh my God! If I go into attention, that opens the doors for a whole lot of people, especially those who are married, who doesn't give attention to their spouse. And I'm one that I have to turn the TV off sometimes, because my wife be talking, I'll be watching TV, and then she go, "What I say?" So I have to learn too to turn the TV off. See, when I preach to me too. But we have to learn how to take the time and put the right attitude into Christmas. That as we put in the right attitude into Christmas, oh my God, then somebody said, are you ready for Christmas? Yes! Yes, I'm ready for Christmas. Because what I'm going to give you my love. I'm going to show you how much God came down to this earth and died not only for me, but for you. I'm going to pray and we're going to stand together and believe that God is going to step in our lives and begin to work things out. I don't know about you, but this is going to be a glorious Christmas. I may not have all the money in the world and I'm not looking for it. But whatever I give out, but more and less, I pray for each and every one of you for how good God has been to me, but I also know how good God has been to you. This may be the first message that I have for Christmas. But when I begin to look at it, when you begin to look at it, it's the attitude of Christmas, but it also brings it down to fatherhood. You know, and just to tap in to what Reverend was talking about this morning, when you see Joseph, he was taking care of his family. He was not the star of the play or the star of the action that happened at the time. He was standing on the sideline. But he had one job to do, and he did that job. He didn't run from it. And so many times we get to the point that we run from stuff. Yeah, that ain't my baby. I'm running. I ain't staying here. But God said, trust him. Trust him. Can we do that today? And our trials and our tribulations, can we still trust him? Anybody hear what I'm saying today? I'm giving you a different light on what Christmas is. It's not about all this the showmanship. It's not about the Santa Clauses and all of that. It's about your attitude. And Jesus is the reason for this season. Come on, give God a hand praise.
This has been another episode of This Is Your Season. To find out more about Grace and Mercy Baptist Church, please contact us by calling 860-343-7335 or writing us at Grace and Mercy Baptist Church, P.O. Box 2301, Middletown, Connecticut, 06457. We are currently located at 13 Waverly Ave in Portland, Connecticut. You can also find us on the web at gracemercyministries.com and like us on Facebook at Facebook/Grace Mercy Church. We hope to see you soon. Thank you for enjoying our program and have a blessed day.